Visiting with Ryan Davis, the head women's basketball coach at Sheridan College. He, of course, going to be coaching the Wyoming girls All-Star basketballs in the series this weekend against Montana. And, Coach, this is your third opportunity. What do you think about this series between Wyoming and Montana, what you've maybe taken away from the past 2 years?
Montana's always got a lot of talent. They seem to have 3, 4, 5 Division I kids every year. I know they're probably, I don't know if you would say down, but they don't have as many of those kids this year. But they're always really tough, big team. A lot of talent, a lot of, Grizz and Cats kids coming out of Montana that'll play there. But, a couple of years ago when I was here, we had a chance to beat Montana when we were at Sheridan. That would have been 2 summers ago, and pretty competitive that year. Last year was not so much, but we're hoping and looking to bounce back a little bit. Got some pretty good talent, and so we'll see where we go this year.
I was going to ask you about your roster. What do you think in terms of how it kind of came together this year?
It was a struggle to find kids this year, which was a little bit surprising. I probably reached out to 25 or 30 kids, and, out of those, we ended up our final roster is only 8 now. We had 2 kids drop out last night. One got injured, the other one just had some personal stuff going on. So it was a little bit harder, I'm not really sure exactly why, but, in the past, we've asked, maybe 12, 13 kids, and we get 2 no's, 3 no's, and then we get our roster and roll with it. But this year's team is, I would say, we have less position players this year than we've had in the last 2 years. Less like true posts, true point guards, true wings. A lot of kids are utility players, can play multiple positions, bring the ball up the court, not necessarily specific to playing on the post or playing on the perimeter. And I think that's a good thing for us. I think we're a little bit longer and more athletic and have some kids that could do multiple things on the court. So I like this team. I think that there's some competitive juice with some of these kids. I know 2 of them personally. 2 of them will be coming to Sheridan next year, and I really like them as well. So, I don't know a ton about Montana, but I do think that these kids are going to fight this year, and I think we should have some competitive games.
So with that shorter roster, what does that do in terms of preparation, getting ready for these games, and then having to deal with a short bench, and then on top of that, kind of knowing what to expect out of Montana, even though you don't know as much about them?
If it was me, and if honestly, I mean, and I know I'm not saying anything that is going to come to as a shock to anybody or plant a seed in anybody's head as far as Montana coaches go, but if it's me and I'm Montana, I got 10 and Wyoming's got 8, we're probably going to try to get them in foul trouble. We're probably going to try to run these guys and get into their bench a little bit. But I really think that there's some things that are good things that can come out of having a shorter bench as well. In an All-Star game, there's the tendency to need to play everybody equal minutes. And I think with this 8-person team now, you can get into some more normal rotations like we would see at the college level if we were just playing during our regular season. So I do think that there's some advantages to it. But, you would expect that Montana, normally they've got some big bruising kids, and I would assume that they're going to really try to go after us and do that. We'll talk to our kids about that. We'll talk to them about the kind of game plan that we want to roll with. As far as preparation goes, though, you only really have 2 days, and it's hard to put in a ton in 2 days. We're going to use our athleticism, try to get up and down the court, try to play fast, and not put so much pressure on our half-court offense. And I think that's something that was a mistake on my end the last couple of years is we probably tried to do too much. And this year we have the horses to be able to go and run. And so that's the plan as of right now. But, practice, put some stuff in, keep it light, keep them fresh, and hopefully we can get 2 really strong outings for 2 nights in a row and not have them gassed.
Speaking of that, since you have experience in this and you know what it's like to put together a team kind of on the fly in just a few practices in a few days, what are some of the keys to having success, do you feel, Coach?
I really think playing loose, playing and having fun in this game is probably the biggest thing. Not giving them too much. Again, I said that I probably did that a little bit too much last year, and maybe detracted a little bit from some of our talent that we had. And so I really believe that you give them, you got to analyze, and you got to know exactly what your team is going to be able to do well. Of course, that's the first thing. But then not doing too much and go over the top with those things. Just give them 2 or 3 things, defensively 2 or 3 things, and just letting them make plays. And of course during the game you got to control it a little bit more. if Montana's going on a run, we got to do certain things to stop that. But that's kind of some of those things are things I can control. But as far as them, I just want them to go play and use their athleticism and skill. And I really do think that this year's team has some pretty dynamic kids on it.
That is Ryan Davis, the Wyoming girls All-Star basketball coach from Sheridan College, as they take on Montana. Of course, the games are reversed this year. They'll be in Billings on Friday night, and it's also been switched venues to Alterowitz Gym there at Montana State Billings, and then Saturday they'll be at the Golden Dome at Sheridan College.